In order to increase the amount of visible reassurance policing in Bedfordshire, Bedfordshire Police decided to equip their officers with Blackberry smartphones. Using Blackberry smartphones, the Blackberry solution provides officers with secure access to the information they require on patrol, greatly increasing their public visibility as well as their effectiveness.
The key objectives for us bringing Blackberries into the force was to enable us to free up officer time so that we had more officers out on the street. We know that that's something that the public wants. They want visibility, they want officers out there, and they want them to be accessible. So far, we've rolled out about 600 Blackberries out of intended 1,100, and we've targeted them at frontline officers to start off with. So uniformed officers, police community support officers have been the first to receive them, so they're out there in the community. And we've had a significant increase in the time spent by officers out on the street, in fact 10% increase.
Before the advent of Blackberries, what officers needed to do when they were given tasks was log on to a desktop computer before they went out on patrol. They would then print out the tasks they needed to do, which could be half a dozen of victims or witnesses to see. They would need to go then and do those jobs, and then they would need to come back to the police station in order to update each of those on the system. With Blackberry, that's not required. With Blackberry, they can actually get the tasks from the device, and they can actually result and update the devices as they go from job to job. When we first started looking at what we wanted to achieve, there were two options open to us. One was to go the Windows mobile route, and one was to go with Blackberry. And other forces had looked at both those options. In force, we've got a very small IT department. So for us, the only option, after careful consideration and looking at what other forces had done, was to go with Blackberry. It's the only solution that really works off the shelf. It comes as a complete package. We don't need to build a mobile data platform with Blackberry. It's in existence and it works. It was very simple for us to implement Blackberry within the force. All it was necessary to do was buy a server, so a computer, to put the Blackberry Enterprise Server software onto that server, and then to connect it to our force network, and then to connect it to the internet. And it really is as simple as that. Some of the applications that we use work straight out of the box. It's just a case of pointing the Blackberry server at them and they'll work, such as the Voters Register, the Police National Legal Database, and the PNC, the Police National Computer.
It was really important for this project that the Blackberry device had approval from the Communications Electronic Security Group. Without this approval, basically the project could not have gone ahead, because that reassures us that the data that is being passed between the Blackberry and back to the station is secure.
In terms of the security of them, from a practical point of view, if an officer loses a device or it's stolen, then the device can be killed remotely very quickly.
The concept of mobile working and the Blackberry into the force was generally well received. There always is some resistance, but the way that we've got round that is by using not just the mobile technology as an IT system, but looking at the human side in it.
We took a view early on that this wasn't just an IT project, this was actually a human project, it was a cultural change project. And with anything like that, it's really vital to consult and liaise with the users so that they actually get what they want. We actually went out to them and spoke to them at their place of work and explained what we were looking to achieve and why we were looking to achieve it. We then had a pilot of 40 users at our Luton division, and we monitored those users using a consultancy called C-Innovate. By the end of the pilot, which ran for 5 months, the users were able to say to us, actually we'll get rid of this bit because we don't need it, but could we have this? And we changed the interface quite considerably as a result of that. Officers are briefed now at the start of their shift, and the briefing that they're given about things like wanted people, missing people, stolen vehicles and so on, they're given that information and it appears on their Blackberry. During the course of their working day, that information can be updated so they can be kept informed. I believe that officers are saving around about an hour a day.
One of the major benefits of the Blackberry is that because myself and my other officers and colleagues are actually out on patrol a far more percentage of their time, then obviously we're more likely to detect more crime, to deal with more offenders, or just serve the public, more efficiently. The most important things for me about the Blackberry is that it's extremely user-friendly, it's very robust, has an excellent network coverage, and for me, working 12-hour shifts, I've never had any problems with battery life at all.
The Blackberry has already helped us make arrests that we would not otherwise have achieved. We had a case not long after the first deployments of the Blackberry at Luton where there was a suspect who was challenged over his identity, and he denied that he was wanted until the officer showed him the picture on the Blackberry. Our use of Blackberry is very much the start of a journey for us. It's our first step into mobile data, and I honestly do believe that for us the only way is up from here.
I've personally used a Blackberry for several years, but since coming to Bedfordshire Police it's really opened my eyes to the enormous possibilities, I suppose, in terms of applications on a Blackberry. For me, it's a piece of equipment that I wouldn't want to be without. To date, all I've had is positive feedback about Blackberries. I've had anecdotal evidence of officers saying that this is the best bit of equipment that they've been issued for years.